Murdoch, the roll call, please.
Mr. Rossi?
Here.
Mr. Cordray?
Here.
Mr. Sousa?
Here.
Stand for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Clerk's Journal and accept the audio-video recording as the official minutes of the September 17th Board of Trustees regular meeting.
Second.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi?
Abstain. I'd like to make a motion to accept the bills as presented before the board.
Second.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.
All right, this takes us to our first public comments section. Anyone like to make public comment? Okay. No one's approaching. We will move on to new business. First, we have a resolution adopting a cybersecurity plan. Jeff, would you like to quickly run down?
Yeah,
what that
thanks,
is?
Mr. Rossi. This is a requirement. It was a bill that was enacted this summer by the Ohio legislator. It says that every municipality and township form of government in the state has to adopt one. But I wanted to mention, in addition to this required policy of having political jurisdictions have a plan in place, we've been doing more, and there are three things that we're going to be doing additionally this year and next year anyways. Outside of this requirement, we're doing some things to reduce our vulnerability. One, I've been working with our outside IT contractor and our property and casualty insurance plan, and we've identified some additional staff trainings, multifaceted authentications, and some additional softwares that we have put and will be putting in addition into place. So I appreciate the state made this a requirement for those communities who haven't thought about it sufficiently, but I also feel good that Hamilton Township's doing more than necessary.
Gotcha. Any questions, gentlemen?
I do not.
I don't know, I talked with Jeff, some of my spouse's local jurisdiction was impacted recently. There's been a couple big ones in the news, and one of them was a big financial hit and a big data breach hit in a local city. So it's good that we're being proactive and doing more than the bare minimum.
Yep, I agree. All right, with that, I will make a motion to approve Resolution 25-1002A, a resolution adopting a cybersecurity policy.
Second.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes. All right, next. Chief or Jeff on this one?
I would, for the appropriations, I would have Chief speak to it.
This reappropriation is into our fire maintenance fund. So engine 76, which is the 2015 engine, needed to have an unplanned remanufactured transmission added at a cost of about $20,000. Just something that you can't really budget for or don't foresee, but for a 10-year-old truck, we're replacing the transmission. It'll come with a 4-year warranty.
Do they know what caused it to fail?
No, it started with the outer casing is cracked, and then some of the gears are shredded. It's probably a manufacturing defect that just finally took hold, because it's very hard to crack the transmission case, especially on a truck that big. So
Yeah, I'll agree.
Yeah.
Any questions?
I do not. Do not. Unfortunate, but it is what it is.
correct.
All right, with that, I will make a motion to approve Resolution 25-1002B, a resolution approving reappropriation in the Fire and EMS Special Levy Fund to reconcile budgets for the calendar year 2025.
Second.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes. Okay, final resolution. This is concerning ambulance fees, transport fees?
Yeah, I'll just mention something very briefly, and then Chief Jewett probably be more depth in any questions you might have. This is not something we're doing to impact our current residents. We've had, like many communities our size, in place now for a few years, our billing of insurance companies. When we make a transport, I supported Chief Jewett's request for this. I've seen this done in some other communities where I've worked. It's anticipation of us receiving, in the next 2 years, most likely one nursing home, and then a second location, probably some form of assisted living. So I appreciate that the fire department's wanting us to be on our toes. He'll explain briefly that this is more of us being productive in it, so that we do not become a taxi service for either of those two nursing homes.
Department of Medicare, Medicaid requires a transport authorizations in order to transport medically. They have to be medically necessitated transports. Nursing homes in the past have always had contracts with private ambulance companies. Their wait times are getting longer, and private ambulance companies, when Medicare reduces the fees or outright refuses to pay the fees, then the private ambulance company is reimbursed by the facility. What the go around for them is they know that we do not do any hard billing, and so they will call 911 for non-necessitated transfers, especially in the middle of the night. What this does is it gives us the ability that if it does not meet insurance requirements and they will not reimburse us for the run, then the facility itself has to pay for that run.
Nice.
Our closest entity doing it here is the city of Lebanon, and since they've done it, they've only had to enact it twice in the last couple of years. So it's nothing that we think is going to be great, but it takes the burden off of our taxpayers and puts it back on the facility.
Right.
So it makes it less likely that you're gonna get calls for non-emergency situations.
Correct.
You still would do the transport, even if you guys deem it's
Yes.
non-emergency, non-necessary.
Correct.
But it gives us a billing recourse.
Correct. And this legislation, it requires us to go in and review the run, review it with our billing company. There's a process. We just don't say, well, we're going to build this run or build that run. There's actually a process that we go through in order for that to be itemized as a legitimate bill before we build the facility. And they're all well aware of this, that this is out there. And this actually backdates to the current care facilities we have now, like the portion of Otterbein that's full care, and Mimi's house as well.
So like you would go back and review, and obviously if it's a single family home or a residential like a Alexandria Point, whatnot, we wouldn't do the hard billing.
Correct. It does not impact our citizens at all. It is strictly nursing care facilities and those types of facilities. It has nothing to do with residential or residents themselves. It's strictly for those care facilities.
Gotcha. Anything else?
That's all good.
All right, with that, I will make a motion to approve Resolution 25-1002C, a resolution establishing reasonable charges for the use of Hamilton Township Fire and Emergency Services.
Second.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.
All right, moving on. This next motion is basically just the last payment for road paving.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions?
I do not.
Do not close it out for the year.
All right, with this, I will make a motion to approve a then and now purchase order to Barrett Midwest Central in the amount of $245,178.75 to be taken out of the Road and Levy Fund, account number 2907-330-400-000, supplies and materials.
Second.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.
Okay, Jeff, would you like to take this, or Chief? He's been speaking quite a bit tonight, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's okay.
but we're still glad that you're here, Captain Rector.
Yeah, I'll get to you at trustee comments.
So we applied to the federal government through the Assistance for Firefighter Grant. This is a $64,000 grant that will offset some of our training costs over the next 2 years. This grant is going to cover, you remember the beginning of the year, we hired 6 new full-time people, converting 12 part-time positions. This is going to pay for 3 of them to go through paramedic school. And then all of our personnel will be trained in incident command to the blue cards level, which is what the chief officers and officers are now. Now our whole department will be trained. Some special rescue swiftwater rescue classes for our people, and for 2 of our officers to go through the Ohio Fire Executive Program. These are some of the programs we're already doing now. It's just now they're going to be federally funded, and our cost is 10%, so we are paying $5,800 instead of $58,000. So
It's not a bad deal. Gentlemen, questions?
I do not.
Good news, good stuff.
All right. With that, I will make a motion to accept an assistance to firefighters grant in the amount of $64,515 with the required match for the township of the amount of $5,865.
Second.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
Mr. Rozzi?
Yes. The last motion is on rolling a new police officer.
That's right.
Okay. Any questions? There you
Now's
go.
your chance, Tim.
If you have questions, I'll be more than happy.
How's he doing?
He's doing really good. I
Yep.
think Jeff and the chief met with him the other day and were very impressed with him.
Yep. I'm as enthusiastic to get him here as he is to come, so it's going to be a good fit.
New officer or coming from another jurisdiction?
New officer.
Okay.
No bad habits.
Daryl, any questions?
I do not. No, that's right.
With that, I will make a motion to approve amendment to the Hamilton Township roster as presented.
Second.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
Mr. Rozzi?
Yes.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.
All right, that brings us to our second public comments section.
I'm Rusty Holman, 8031 Whalen Lane, Mainville. 2 weeks ago, I talked to the 2 of you about money. It's my favorite subject. And it was a fairly spirited discussion back and forth. I mean, I made my points, you guys made your points. So I listened to what you had to say, and I went home and did some research. And I took out the $10 million that you had mentioned, Mark, and I took it out of both the line items that represent the total appropriations and the total reserve balance. After taking those 2 numbers out, we still have 13.3 months of operating in the reserves. Okay, so my point was that we had over a year's supply, and we still have over a year's supply after taking into consideration everything that you guys talked about.
Can I just ask one point of clarification, just real quick? Are you saying 13 months, that's taking fire levy, police levy, general fund, everything combined? You're saying we have over 13 months?
Everything combined,
Okay, I just wanted that clarification.
okay?
I just wanted-
The numbers are actually $16.6 million in the reserves and 14.976 in expenditures. Okay? Now, having said that, what I want to do is I want to stress what I was trying to get across to you, and I don't think I made the point. When I consider all of the trustees' meetings that I've been to and all of the financial discussions that I've participated in, the only thing we're talking about is spending money. Okay? That's a mindset. And what I'm trying to do is to encourage you guys to develop a different mindset. A mindset of trying to save the taxpayer some money. And that comes from how you think about it, how you feel. It comes from recognizing and realizing that we have 13.3 months of supply if we did nothing. Okay? That there was an old story about World War II, that there was a munitions factory and an office building located right next to each other. And the Allies bombed the munitions factory and obliterated it. And yet, the administrative office continued to function smoothly for the duration of the war, feeding itself on its own internally generated paperwork. Okay? What I'm trying to get at is mindset. I want you guys thinking about ways to save me money. I'm a taxpayer. Okay? And that's the point. I don't question legitimate expenses. I mean, if we made an impassioned plea for a $1.5 million fire truck, ladder, okay? And everybody decided to go along with it. I'm good with that. All right? But what I'm not good with is the constant talk about how we spend and not how we save and not how we give back. Okay? And the best example of recent stuff that I can convey to you is the way the Hamilton Warren County trustees decided that they had enough money in the balance that they did not need to fund the office of the Warren County commissioners for a year. And they gave that money back to the taxpayer. Okay? That's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Let me ask you a question, and you don't have to answer this tonight, but something to think about. Being that you're one of the more fiscally aware and involved constituents, so my thought or question is, because you're right, I mean, we come here to do normal business, right? And we talked about not financing some assets, saving money on interest, or investing extra dollars. But the preponderance of what we do discuss is spending. Think about and come back at a future meeting or hit me up one-off when you think about hearing conversations that change that paradigm, right, or the thinking, maybe for a couple examples. Something
Okay.
you would like to hear that we, researched, whatever it may be, maintenance contracts, what utilities, whatever. I'm just curious. I'm not nitpicking, and I'm just legitimately would like to hear any examples that move the needle in that direction.
Okay.
Fair.
Let me just fire two back at you.
Okay.
Okay? Number one, I had a meeting with Jeff when you first started. And I explained to you what I had done as the fiscal analyst for the township. And I documented that I'd saved the township $150,000 a year, ongoing, by looking at things like gasoline, by looking at things like utilities, by looking at things like insurance rates. Okay, and that was well documented. And what I suggested was that there needed to be an ongoing committee in the township focusing in on cost reductions, cost improvements. Okay? And I left that with you. I have never heard anything back. Nothing. All right? I'll give you a second example. One of the biggest contributions, Mark, that you've made since you became a trustee was taking the funds that we had and investing them. And that investment generates over $600,000 a year in revenue. But that's not your money. It's my money.
Right.
I haven't gotten anything back from that $600,000. Nothing. I don't even get recognition of the fact that you're using my money to generate revenues for the township. Okay? That's part of mindset. It's what I want you guys thinking about.
So I guess my question is, what do you think we're doing with them? Because I mean, as a body, I think we've been more than transparent about when we ran the levy in 2019 is exactly what the plan was for the township. I mean, I ran on basis saying we need to right size all of our departments, and we've invested heavily in our police, whether it's been equipment, new vehicles, new cars, adding additional police officers, new fire station that we sorely needed. I mean, the old fire station in Mainville, it's a great building, but it speaks for itself. The new public works building that we've put the money in, the Mounts Park, the issues with the EPA that we've had to deal with over the last 6 years. I don't think we're just sitting on the money for the sake of sitting on money. We've been strategic and very deliberate and very open of what we've been doing with our reserves over the last 8 years. You talk about the 13 months overall. You're right, overall picture, it is 13 months, but those are all in separate buckets. And as you know, we can't move police to general. We can't move police to fire. We're trying to do what we said in the beginning, which we're well on track of doing, is our levy. We asked in 2019, we went to the residents and said, hey, we're going to do this, this, and this levy will carry us 8 to 10 years in the township. And we're well on track to at least make the 10-year mark, maybe even a little bit further because of this conservative approach this board's had over the last 8 years now.
Okay? I would remind you guys that when you enacted a road levy, you came up with a formula for the road levy, and that formula was challenged by one person in the audience, yours truly. And I went back and had a discussion with Matt Nolan following that meeting and found out that my assessment was correct. Okay, and you increased the millage by 1 full point that did not need to be according to the formula that you had supplied.
I think it was I think you were asking, because you're right, your math was the revenue it generated was off. I think they passed $1.25 million and you were requesting that one was gonna,
Yeah.
you just said a full point. I'm sorry, minor correction.
That's fine, that's fine. Point made. The point was that the only person who challenged that was me.
Right.
And I went back to Matt Nolan, and, you know, it turned out I was right. Darrell, last meeting, I said to you that all you're doing by talking about this is proving the point that I'm trying to make. You have a mindset as to how you creatively spend our money.
No, I would disagree with you. I think the mindset is in 2017 when we ran for office, Mr. Ozzie and I, we said we saw the deficiencies that we felt were deficient in the township, and we said this is the plan going forward. We've lived up to that plan. And the residents of the township have overwhelmingly supported that plan. We've been completely open and transparent about this plan. I don't think we're just looking for creative ways to spend money. Yes, we have spent money, absolutely, 100%, but it wasn't because out of just, boredom or that we were trying to build Rome. It was because we have specific needs in this township, and we're trying to build our township up to get to those needs and the expectations that the residents have, and do that fiscally responsibly.
Okay.
Yeah. It was improving the services that that the township residents deserve and are paying for. So we have adequate police and fire protection, because when Darrell and I came here, I don't know that much about the fire service, but when I have a chief looking at me and I'm asking him, "What's wrong, chief?" and he says something about somebody else is running his command, he doesn't have enough personnel, and I had to look at, what do you need? Those are the examples that we walked into. The deficiency and it came down to salaries, very much so. We were losing talent, or not even acquiring talent, to other communities that weren't much bigger than us, just because of where the levels were at the time, and that's how it had always been. So it took us a couple of years, but the services we provide, being the 3rd or 5th safest community in the state of Ohio, not just out of the 1,300 townships, but in the entire state, that is a testament to the improvement in services, and that's what we use this money for. So for anything else other than how can we make sure the residents get that exchange? There's an exchange. Do you want a fair exchange? You get a pencil for a pencil, or do you want an exchange in abundance? Here, I got this, and I'm going to gift wrap this thing for you, make sure that it's functioning into the future. That's how I look at it.
A couple more thoughts. I think both people are making valid points. I support what Darrell's saying, and I'm sitting here thinking, we hear things from staff that the public doesn't hear, right? Insurance open enrollment. They went and shopped. Maybe we stay with the same insurer. Maybe we change due to some cost savings. Sometimes we could probably better communicate in the meeting, whatever it may be. It could be, I think in the past, cell phone providers or something. We provided X savings. We probably could do a bit better job communicating that. And I think similar to what Joe just said, I had a conversation with Jeff shortly after he came. And to Darrell's point, we're the conduit for the people, but Jeff came here from a community bigger than us. We're a little over 30,000, came here from 45,000. Bigger than us, but not 2-3 times our size, 40, 50% more, a lot more commercial development. But 45,000 people spending $45 million, $1 million per 1,000 residents. We're spending 15-ish million on a little over 30,000. We're spending about $500,000 per 1,000 residents, or slightly less. I hear you, we can always look for ways to save and be better, but to a point, it's at what point is it maybe going to start to sacrifice services? And I would put any of our services, up against anyone.
I think he's talking about just talk about it. I mean, the first thing we start the meeting off with is paid bills.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe bring
There
up some of
probably
these
are a
cost-saving
handful of
things
things
that-
a year that staff does, whether it's Ellen or, somebody found some savings, and we could do a better job sharing those little successes. But I think a ton about the big stuff and getting to the long term.
Okay, for
And
at least 15 minutes or so, I've worked on trying to get you guys to change your mindset. That's all I was really asking. Okay?
Thanks, Rusty.
Thank you.
There's two examples real quickly. I appreciate those comments, and maybe it's a typical greater Cincinnati sense of humbleness. Maybe we could brag on the successes as we have them more often. But to my left are two quick examples. You gentlemen approved Chief Jewett's department receiving a $58,000 training grant that he'll get used for a couple of years, which translates to customer service. And then the other item to my left is we don't have a law director here tonight because I didn't think that there would be a need for it given the agenda items. There's not a law firm that I've ever worked with better than Bricker Graydon, but that's the other one as I look to my left. So
Well, since you started, that's been pretty consistent that we haven't had a law director here.
yeah, roughly half the time I would
Yeah,
guess.
in the beginning, in the first so many years, I would have probably looked at you and said, yeah, no. I'm no law director. But since Jeff came on board, and it's no offense to the past administrators at all, there's a level of comfort with Jeff's experience. So
Absolutely.
those things. But, all right. Moving on. Administrator comments. Jeff?
Thanks, Mr. Rossi. Yeah, a couple of headlines for tonight would be one from the fiscal office. Ellen and I received word, confirmation now from Auditor of State Keith Faber's office that we did receive a very clean audit for the prior year, and that makes the 11th straight row in a row that we have had such a clean audit. So we're really proud of Ellen, proud of this board and all of the elected officials, as well as all the members of our leadership team. Because that's not just financial sense, did we do things well, do we appropriate and make acceptable purchases in the right fashion? That's also all of our records. Do we respond to records requests appropriately? So it speaks to the efficiencies, both financial and otherwise. So I'm really proud of everybody. I've developed a really strong professional relationship with Ellen since I've been here, and I have nothing but deep appreciation for her. But it's also a team approach, and I'll borrow Rusty had a good phrase of mindset. I could tell right after I got here, it was explained to me by not just the board, all of your departments and employees are very proud of that. They are looking through the windshield and they would be very disappointed if we ever had anything less but that clean audit. So it's great confirmation that your message has trickled down to everybody that's on the team, and I'm just really proud of all of them. Thanks. I have a couple of Parks and Rec items too. Nicole reminded me that the Mounts Park Stream Restoration Project, we have the bid packets out. We've been advertising. We've sent the packets to 20 different general contracting firms. Next week, we're going to have an on-site mandatory pre-bid meeting with any of them that are interested, because I hope to come back to you gentlemen in a few weeks with a recommendation of the contractor for that first phase. And then you gentlemen are probably going to mention things such as the Station 76 open house and some public events, but I also wanted to let everybody know, if they've not been out to Mounts Park, take a look at the sunflower field. You're seeing a lot of photos being taken and visits during this time. It's a nice backdrop. I think there's going to be dozens of senior pictures taken there from all area high schools. So I would encourage our residents to stop at Mounts Park and take a look at the sunflowers for the next few weeks. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right, trustee comments. Daryl.
Thank you, Mr. Rossi. Yeah, I just got a couple tonight. Just to piggyback on Jeff with regards to Mounts Park and the sunflower field, I was there for homecoming. It was my youngest freshman homecoming, and man, that place was packed. I think there was like 200 cars there, and the flowers were just beginning to bloom. So maybe a little nugget for Little Miami next year is make homecoming maybe a week or two later, and then that way you get the full bloom of the sunflowers, because there were all kinds of pictures being taken. The only other thing I just want to congratulate the staff. You guys do an outstanding job, as Mr. Wright mentioned, the 11th perfect audit. I think the 8th one since Mr. Rossi and I have been here. Just appreciate everybody's hard work. I know it's something that everybody takes pride in, so just want to share my congratulations to the staff. And then just my little nugget election note. Just want to remind everybody, early voting starts October the 7th, so a week from, I believe it's a week from yesterday, I believe, on Wednesday. So make sure if you haven't registered or you need to make any changes, make sure you do that by October the 6th. Like I said, early voting begins on the 7th, and then election day is November the 4th. So just make sure you get out there and have your voice heard and vote this year for election day.
Mark?
I do not have anything to add to that. The only thing Ellen is the constant through, even Rusty was in the building during fiscal emergency, mentioned helping on some stuff, and it's to go from the accounting nightmare that caused the fiscal emergency here to over a decade of clean audits. And you're right, Ellen that is priority one, that audit coming back with no recommendations. So it's very, very good.
I agree. All right, with that, I will make a motion to adjourn into executive session at 6:31 PM in accordance with ORC 121.22, Part G, Subpart AA, 8A, to discuss economic development.
Second.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Mr. Cordray?
Yes.